The mysterious legacy of the Erie Canal. The Erie Canal, a 363-mile waterway stretching across New York State, was more than an engineering triumph. It was a bold gamble that changed America forever. Carved through mountains, forests, and rock, it linked the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean via the Hudson River, binding Albany to Buffalo and opening a gateway to the unknown interior of the young nation. When the Erie Canal first opened in 1825, it seemed almost impossible. A man-made river that cut across the wild frontier, turning New York City into the economic powerhouse of America. Congress later recognized its significance by declaring it a National Heritage Corridor in 2000. But beneath its celebrated history lies a story of obsession, hardship, and untold mystery. For centuries, explorers dreamed of a passage to the rich lands beyond the Appalachian Mountains. The Northwest Territory, later Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and Wisconsin, was a land of timber, minerals, fertile soil, and endless promise. Yet the Appalachian Barrier trapped settlers along the Atlantic coast. Hauling goods westward by wagon took weeks, often at unbearable cost. The future of expansion, and of a nation, seemed locked behind stone walls of earth. Then came Jesse Hawley, the prisoner's vision. In 1807, from the darkness of debtor's prison, a failed flour merchant wrote a series of essays that would alter history. Hawley's dream was a canal nearly 400 miles long, linking Buffalo on Lake Erie to Albany on the Hudson River. Though he was ruined by his inability to transport his goods, his words caught fire. Among those listening was DeWitt Clinton, New York's mayor, who became convinced that Hawley's vision was the key to power and prosperity. When Clinton rose to governor in 1817, he pushed Hawley's improbable dream into reality. On July 4th of that year, workers broke ground near Utica, New York. Few could imagine how grueling the years ahead would be, or how close the project came to collapse. Clinton's ditch. Building the Erie Canal was unlike anything attempted before. Clinton's rivals mocked it as Clinton's Folly or Clinton's Ditch. Laborers, many Irish immigrants, others native-born Americans, faced swamps, cliffs, and dense wilderness. Armed with little more than axes, shovels, and black powder, they clawed through unforgiving terrain. Dynamite did not yet exist. Took 8 relentless years. When completed, the canal was only 4 feet deep and 40 feet wide. Yet it spanned nearly 400 miles and contained 83 locks, raising and lowering boats like mysterious stairways of water. The birth of American engineering. At the time, almost no one in America had experience building canals. West Point's military academy was the only place teaching engineering. But the Erie Canal forced innovation. Workers invented new machines to tear out tree stumps, and engineers created a cement that hardened underwater. An invention that defied nature itself. From its muddy trenches rose a new generation of engineers and visionaries. By 1824, the nation's first civil engineering school, Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, was born. The Erie Canal was not only a waterway, it was a training ground for America's builders. The lasting mystery. The Erie Canal transformed a wilderness into a highway of commerce, fueling migration, trade, and dreams of expansion. But it also left behind questions. What drove men like Hawley and Clinton to gamble everything on a canal through hostile terrain? Why did thousands of laborers endure backbreaking toil for wages barely enough to survive? And how did this seemingly impossible project succeed when nearly everyone predicted it would fail? The Erie Canal remains more than a marvel of stone and water. It is a story of ambition, vision, and secrets buried beneath the waters that once divided a nation. The Erie Canal's hidden economic impacts. On October 26, 1825, the Erie Canal opened with a spectacle unlike anything seen before. A fleet of boats, led by Governor DeWitt Clinton aboard the Seneca Chief, slipped into the canal's waters and sailed from Buffalo to New York City in only 10 days. This wasn't just a journey. It was the beginning of an economic transformation that would rewrite America's destiny. Before the canal, New York was a city of promise, but it was overshadowed by Boston, Philadelphia, and New Orleans. Then the Erie Canal carved its way across the wilderness, connecting the Hudson River to the Great Lakes, and unlocking direct water access to the Midwest. With a single stroke of engineering ambition, New York became the gateway to America's resource-rich heartland. Almost overnight, the city rose as the nation's economic powerhouse. Its population quadrupled between 1820 and 1850, and its financiers eclipsed Philadelphia's once dominant banks. New York City became the primary port of entry for European immigrants, its wharves crowded with dreams of both fortune and survival. But the economic ripple of the Erie Canal spread far beyond New York. For the first time, goods could move at 1/10 the previous cost in less than half the time. By 1853, the canal carried a staggering 62% of all U.S. trade. Manufactured goods, furniture, clothing, tools flowed westward in bulk. Farmers in Ohio, Indiana, and beyond shipped their wheat and corn east, finally earning the cash to buy luxuries once out of reach. The canal even sparked something unexpected: tourism. Thousands of travelers drifted its waters, journeying from New York City to Niagara Falls. Among them was Charles Dickens, who marveled at this strange man-made river threading through the American frontier. A darker impact, native dispossession. Yet beneath the prosperity lay another story, one far more unsettling. The Erie Canal did not pass through empty lands. It cut across the ancestral homelands of the Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, and Seneca peoples. As the canal carried settlers, traders, and immigrants into the interior, it accelerated the removal of Native Americans from western New York and the upper Midwest. Policies, both state and federal, pushed them onto remote reservations or into faraway, unfamiliar territories. By the 1840s and 1850s, as the canal boom reached its height, indigenous communities were uprooted, their lands absorbed into the expanding reach of the United States. The Erie Canal remains celebrated as an economic miracle, but its legacy is haunted by the shadows of those it displaced. It is both a story of triumph and a reminder that progress often carries a hidden cost. The Erie Canal today, echoes of a forgotten waterway. The Erie Canal did not remain frozen in time. Twice, it was enlarged to accommodate wider, deeper boats, and in 1918, parts of it were rerouted to handle the growing surge of ship traffic. For decades, it carried the lifeblood of America's commerce, a silent artery of trade stretching across New York State. But everything changed in 1959. When the St. Lawrence Seaway opened, vast ships could bypass the Erie Canal entirely, sailing straight from the Atlantic Ocean into the Great Lakes. Almost overnight, the canal's commercial importance collapsed. What had once been the superhighway of America became a relic, its waters quieted to the sound of leisure boats and passing tourists. Today, portions of the original canal remain operable, though its role has shifted. Tourism now dominates, drawing travelers who seek to experience the slow, winding passage once hailed as the eighth wonder of the world. Its towpaths have been transformed into walking and biking trails, and its locks and bridges stand as weathered monuments to a time when this waterway defined the destiny of a nation. In 2000, Congress recognized the Erie Canal's enduring significance, designating it a National Heritage Corridor. This ensured that both the canal and the communities along its banks would be preserved, not just as relics of the past, but as living connections to a story that still flows beneath the surface. The Erie Canal today may no longer dominate global trade, but its waters still carry echoes of ambition, sacrifice, and transformation, reminders of a mysterious legacy that shaped America itself. If you've enjoyed uncovering the forgotten history of the Erie Canal, don't stop here. Subscribe to History Love, your go-to channel for exploring the fascinating stories of the past. Dive deeper into history's mysteries, where every episode reveals the hidden forces that shaped our world.